Ellen's ties to Epstein and her alleged involvement in bringing young actors to his island are now starting to come to light. Newly leaked emails and voice recordings reveal Epstein using coded language when referring to his victims. And in one of those recordings, a victim named Virginia Dufresne suggests that he was not acting on his own.
I've talked to many other girls,
Okay.
and a lot of things have happened, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, just take a deep breath.
I'm trying. It's just I'm not that type of person. That's why I was so.
And I understand that, and that seems to be a case with a lot of people, okay? Either they need cash quickly and they fall into this rut. But that's why I'm trying to
I understand.
look into this, but that's why I need you to be totally honest with me.
I am
and
being
totally
completely
truthful.
honest with you.
Okay. So what else happened?
And then when he started pleasing himself, he got up and he went over to a drawer and he pulled out this thing, and then he pulled down my and then he started, it was just like this.
In the early 2000s, Virginia Dufresne, a woman from the UK, stated that Ghislaine Maxwell brought her to Epstein's island and compelled her into encounters with influential men, including individuals linked to the British royal family, beginning when she was just 14. She also claimed to have photographs of some of these figures, including Prince Andrew's. Virginia said Epstein was not acting alone, but was supported by a broader network of residences and powerful contacts across the US, the UK, and the Virgin Islands. It has further been alleged that Epstein transported women on his private jet to secret gatherings, where high-ranking figures from government and media circles were in attendance.
It took a lot of people involved. It took doctors, psychiatrists, gynecologists, dentists. All these people knew what was going on, hairstylists. I mean, the list goes on. I could keep going on and on and on. Drivers, chauffeurs, butlers, housemaids. It took all of these people turning a blind eye, which they weren't blind to because we were right there blatantly in front of them. They knew exactly what was going on. Everyone's turned a blind eye in the place where I was supposed to be protected, in my country where I was supposed to be protected. The justice system failed us then. I believe they're going to do something amazing for us now. I really believe in them. I believe that the New York Southern District wants to do the right thing. And I will do everything that I can do to be a part of helping them do that.
Although no one else was ultimately charged, and the Department of Justice maintained that Epstein acted alone, these leaked materials and Virginia's statements suggested that others may have been involved. In 2019, just weeks before the official release of the Epstein files, Virginia shared on social media that she had been receiving threats from unidentified sources, warning her about the consequences of continuing to speak publicly. She had also announced plans to write a book detailing the individuals she encountered during her time on Epstein's island and aboard his private jet. Before the book could be published, she was struck by a truck. While she initially survived the incident, reports later claimed that she passed away days afterward. What makes this even more unsettling is that shortly before her death, Virginia had posted online about feeling targeted. In that message, she made it clear that she had no intention of harming herself and said she had already informed her therapist and doctor. She urged that if anything were to happen to her, it should not be dismissed and asked for protection for her family, adding that too many dangerous people wanted her silenced.
Welcome back and Alive Now. I'm Austin Westfall. Breaking news coming in, some sad news to share. We're learning this from the New York Post, several other outlets reporting this as well. Virginia Dufresne, the most prominent victim of the late convicted Jeffrey Epstein, took her own life on Thursday. This is just weeks after she made headlines for saying that she had days to live after she claimed to have been hit by a bus. A statement given to NBC News was quoted as such from the 41-year-old's family. It says, "It's with utterly broken hearts that we announce that Virginia passed away last night at her farm in Western Australia. She lost her life to after being a lifelong victim of sexual abuse and trafficking." The New York Post says that Dufresne took legal action against billionaire financier Epstein in 2015, alleging that she was trafficked at age 16 after his ex-lover and convicted Madam Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her from her job as a locker room attendant at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. The mom of 3, according to the Post, also alleged that she was forced to have sex with disgraced Prince Andrew 3 times when she was 17, including at Epstein's Little St. James Island in New Mexico, and Little St. James Island in New Mexico, and in Maxwell's London home, where a notorious photo of her with King Charles' eldest brother was taken.
The book Virginia had been working on before her death was never fully finished, though a portion of it was eventually made public. The claims included in those pages were among the factors that later brought scrutiny onto Prince Andrews, a highly prominent figure within the British royal family. Surprisingly, a large section of the manuscript reportedly went missing around the time of her death. However, the material that had already been sent to her publisher still surfaced, and it contained deeply unsettling details.
It's a harrowing read, and it'll make you feel uncomfortable, but these are the excerpts that stood out for me from the memoir written by the late Virginia Giuffre, which has just been released. In it, she describes being trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein to, quote, a man who raped me more savagely than anyone had before. Now, it's worth noting that in the US edition of the book, she described the man in legal filings only as, quote, a prime minister, and that he had repeatedly choked her until she lost consciousness and, quote, took pleasure in seeing me fear for my life. Giuffre doesn't name the Prime Minister or many of the other men that she writes about in this book. Her co-author, Amy Wallace, says it shouldn't be up to the survivors of abuse out there. It should be the authorities, which is why she's calling for the so-called Epstein files to be released. Giuffre does name Epstein and Prince Andrew, of course, who she says she had encounters with in multiple locations.
Virginia's final voice message appeared to reinforce what many had long suspected. According to her account, Epstein was not acting alone, and she warned that those who tried to speak out could face serious consequences. She also suggested that the Department of Justice had not been fully transparent, noting that complete records had still not been released even years after Epstein's death. At one point, FBI Director Kash Patel was reportedly recorded addressing the case, stating during an appearance on Joe Rogan that he did not believe Epstein had been murdered. This added another layer to the ongoing debate. Meanwhile, attention also turned to Ghislaine Maxwell, widely known as Epstein's closest associate, and what she had to say regarding the situation.
So you think he did not die by given all the things we just talked about?
I do not believe he died by no.
And do you believe that, do you have any speculation or view of who killed him?
This voice recording surfaced in 2024. Around that time, the FBI and the Department of Justice stated that the Epstein files would be made public a year later, in 2025. The announcement sent shockwaves across the entertainment industry. Documents from those files, including emails and audio recordings, suggested that Epstein had been using his connections within that world to recruit young women. He was also reportedly linked to several modeling agencies, where he was listed as a talent scout. Now the question is, who left the United States shortly after this announcement was made?
They're losing their minds.
She sounded so sincere, didn't she?
Very
she could
sincere.
Virtually choke on her words. But the best one for me is Ellen DeGeneres, who is, by the way, a very nasty person. I've had dealings with her in Australia.
Bit of
could I tell you some stories about that cow? But anyway, good riddance to her. But she was quite friendly with that P. Diddy bloke, wasn't she?
Well, this is why I say release the Diddy files.
Yeah.
Release the Diddy files. Come on, Donald Trump. We want to know whose name.
So maybe she's hightailing out of there before all that is thrown at her as well. But what a bunch of hypocrites.
This wasn't the only indication that something was off. Not long after Ellen left the country, her executive producer Twitch, someone she often referred to as her right-hand man, reportedly died by suicide. In a message said to be left for his wife, Twitch allegedly shared everything he had witnessed while working with Ellen, describing situations involving influential figures and names he never imagined would be tied to such darkness. He told Allison that he had been pressured to remain silent and that people around him, even Ellen, were not who they appeared to be. There were also claims of a voice recording connected to Ellen that supposedly exposed further details. Although this audio has never been officially released, It has been widely discussed across online forums and in leaked direct messages.
We're learning more tonight about the tragic suicide of Stephen Twitch boss and the detailed steps he took to hide his plans. TMZ is reporting when Twitch left his home the day before his suicide, he took an Uber to a motel about a mile away. At the motel, he switched his phone to airplane mode so no one could reach him. The motel manager says he checked in under his own name and never left his room. We also now know that Twitch left his note. Details have not been made public, but TMZ reports the note alluded to challenges Twitch had faced in the past. Entertainer Tyler Perry knows firsthand what that is like.
I want to take you back to a time in my life where I tried to commit suicide a couple of times because it was so dark. I thought the only way to make this better, this pain go away, is to end my life. Had any of those attempts happened, I would have missed the best part of my life.
Ellen didn't seem to make much effort to conceal her alleged connection to the disturbing side of Hollywood that is now coming under scrutiny. In one episode featuring Sandra Bullock, the two openly joked about a so-called dream method, hinting at something extracted and even laughing about how it supposedly kept them feeling young.
Okay, let's talk about this facial that you're obsessed with. How many, did you get the whole cast of Ocean's 8 to do this?
Not everybody.
Okay, good, smart ones.
Just those that I thought would appreciate it.
Okay, explain what it is.
Well, it's this way in which one forces through microneedling. It's like a little roller with these, some of you, I think many of you know it, and it pushes through the skin and ruptures the collagen and then boosts it. You look like a burn victim for a day, but then it pushes the serum.
What are you pushing into the skin, Sarah? Sandra? Carrie? What are you pushing into the skin?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean.
It may sound unbelievable, but rumors like this have circulated in Hollywood for years. There were even reports and footage involving one industry figure, Peter Nygard, allegedly attempting to obtain highly controversial materials. That same individual later became widely known for facing serious criminal allegations and convictions tied to the exploitation of numerous women over several decades.
Stem cell technology that Peter and I are investing in is called SCNT, which takes the egg of a young, perfect woman specimen, takes the egg and takes out the nucleus and puts our DNA in the nucleus. They just go in and take it out.
It's painful, right?
Huh?
Is it painful?
Yeah, a little bit. And this is part of this genetic greatness that we don't see in any other race on the planet. These curvy black women from Africa. You girls have a kind of a monopoly on this genetic perfection, and we want some of that. So, girls, for $100, we will pay you for your egg.
No, you gotta be out of your monkey.
You can
get paid a lot more than that.
So how much do you want for it? Let's bid. I bid $500, but you know. I'm prepared to outbid him anyway. Whatever I bid, he's gonna outbid me.
I bought about $60,000 worth of eggs.
Yeah.
If you have abortion, that's very valuable. Umbilical cord, placenta. Even your period blood is so rich with stem cells. Mm. We regard it as waste, and it actually should be. It should be captured and recycled.
The recently released emails from the Epstein files show Jeffrey Epstein was interested in genetic medicine. He paid a researcher at Massachusetts General Hospital for tests that could be used to help create stem cells. Investigators found a $2,000 invoice from 2014 for sequencing part of Epstein's genome. The doctor that he paid also provided an estimate for personalized longevity studies that would use gene editing. He told investigators Epstein was enrolled in the Personal Genome Project at Harvard University.
Some viewers have even speculated that the design of Ellen's show set was inspired by a structure located on Epstein's island.
Number 2. Nice. We could have done this here.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I was like, you know what? That's a good way to die. They're not going to let me buy that place. Look at it.
Oh, well, you know where that is too, right? It's a similar image to that, right?
No.
I know Jamie does.
What is it?
It's on the set of a famous talk show that's now not on anymore.
Oh, Ellen? Was that Ellen?
Yeah.
Really?
Just look at the temple and then look at the...
Let me see Ellen's background. What?
And to give a sense of the type of claims being made about Ellen, there were also moments cited from her show, such as a prank involving Justin Bieber, that some viewers later questioned and viewed in a more critical light. This was also the period when Ellen's friendly public image began to unravel. The show eventually came to an end after various allegations connected to her started coming to light. Many people remember the shock of discovering that someone who had built her identity around kindness might not have been what she seemed. Ellen later addressed the situation with a public apology, and during that moment, she even had Twitch appear on the show alongside her.
Like a lot of people saying that someone who seems so nice is not nice at all.
She doesn't seem nice, but that's people have a very poor judge of character. She doesn't seem nice. It seems forced. People that are like that all the time, she doesn't seem nice. It's very forced. And whatever, you're allowed to be right? You're allowed to be nasty to people. You're accomplished. You're a comedian. You did the whole thing. What you're not allowed to do is have a Guantanamo Bay situation in the backstage of your show where everybody's walking around afraid for their life, and it's like Abu Ghraib where they're hooked up to wires and they
dogs
have like
around them.
Yeah, she's got dogs and hoods. If an intern's late, they have a hood on. I don't support that. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Her departure seemed to closely sovepied with the announcement about the release of the Epstein files, and many fans quickly pointed out that Ellen also appeared to change her look. After being known for her blonde hair throughout her career, she altered her appearance and reportedly moved to England in what looked like an attempt at a fresh start. For many, the timing felt too unusual to ignore. Why would Ellen step away from the spotlight just as names connected to Epstein were expected to come out? And what explains such a noticeable change in her image?
Ellen DeGeneres and her wife, Portia de Rossi, have reportedly fled the US, bound for the UK, after Donald Trump's landslide victory. Numerous publications are reporting the couple have left the United States permanently. There are also reports the couple have put their Montecito mansion on the market. Entertainment publication The Wrap has the exclusive story and said, Ellen DeGeneres and wife Portia de Rossi have moved to rural England, put their Montecito estate on the market, and plan to never return to the United States, telling friends the election of Donald Trump was their primary motivation. Ellen DeGeneres has been a vocal Trump critic, so the move doesn't come as a surprise to most.
Records have shown that Epstein was involved with young women connected to modeling and the entertainment industry. In one of his emails, he reportedly wrote to a film director who was researching a deeply troubling figure connected to activities on a private island. Epstein responded by implying that he himself was the subject being described. He mentioned that someone had told him about the project, and that when he revealed this, it left the person shocked. This exchange is said to have taken place roughly 7 months before his arrest.
Question: which one do you prefer, lewd and lascivious conduct or procuring minors for prostitution? I suppose lewd and lascivious conduct. I would prefer lewd and lascivious conduct with a prostitute if possible. That exchange between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell on May 23rd, 2008 is part of some 18,000 emails from Epstein's personal Yahoo account obtained by Bloomberg News. The emails, which suggest the inbox was most active between 2005 and 2008, include messages spanning 2002 to 2022. Epstein died in 2019, and emails received after that are largely spam or marketing offers. Overall, the emails offer a raw look into the disgraced financier and offender's world. While this inbox wasn't the only one he used, the newly uncovered emails do suggest how central Maxwell was to his life, something that contradicts her telling of events. She's characterized herself as a former girlfriend and property manager for Epstein, not someone with eyes into his vast influence machine or operation.
After the Epstein files were released, several alleged victims began speaking publicly, sharing what they say took place on the island. Marina Lacerda, who identified herself as one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, stated that there are people who know more about her past than she does. She also said that government agencies still hold documents and information that could help her understand and process what happened, but she does not have access to any of it.
Till now, Marina Lacerda was known publicly only as victim number 1 in 2019 court documents. But now she's speaking out for the first time about her experience at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Her cooperation with the FBI was key to putting the offender behind bars. She says she was just 14 years old and living in a broken home in New York City when a friend brought her to meet Epstein to give him a massage.
I think with Jeffrey Epstein, it starts somewhere, but then it ends with either you having sex with him, whether you like it or not.
She became a part of a network of young girls in Astoria, Queens, recruited to be with Epstein, similar to what prosecutors say he did in Palm Beach, Florida.
When he has somebody new in his life, he likes to see them a lot. So I went there a whole bunch of times, and, it led to, unfortunately, he forced me to have sex with him, basically.
Lacerda says she was paid thousands of dollars and that as a young immigrant from Brazil, she says she believed being associated with a financier could lead to better opportunities.
It never happened, obviously, because it came to a point when I was, I'd say 16 and a half or 17. He didn't want me anymore. He was just like, you're too old.
He said that?
He's like, you're too old. I don't want you anymore.
Another alleged victim shared in her testimony that she was so frightened by what she experienced that she once attempted to swim away from the island. She explained that she had already tried to escape twice before. In one instance, after being taken there multiple times, and after Ghislaine had restricted her access to food, she decided to risk everything. She said she was ready to die if that's what it took to get away, choosing to enter the water and attempt an escape that night.
I have spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being over and over and over again. And yes, Ghislaine must be in prison because I've been in hell and back for the last 17 years.
And 27 for me.
I was 10 years old when Liz Stein was being raped. I was 10. That is how long this trafficking ring has been going.
Sections of the files where victims described what allegedly took place on the island have been redacted. However, another alleged victim, a young model named Gabriela Jimenez, was seen in distress outside a hotel in 2009, reportedly shouting that she had witnessed something deeply disturbing involving powerful individuals. Some observers later drew comparisons between these claims and moments from Ellen's show, including a segment with Sandra Bullock that has since been viewed in a more controversial light.
Luis, esta es la triste realidad de la joven Gabriela Rico Jiménez, quien, como observamos en unos momentos, intentó también agredir al elemento policíaco que logró someterla esta madrugada. Por eso, bueno, vamos a buscar la versión de las autoridades del por qué.
It wasn't only Ellen making remarks that some later connected to real events. In the recently released Epstein-related files from the Department of Justice, observers have pointed out that certain food-related terms appear unusually frequently throughout emails and documents. Words like pizza, along with mentions of items such as ice cream and grape soda, show up repeatedly in contexts where they seem out of place. These patterns have led to widespread online speculation, suggesting that such terms could be coded language for illicit activity. However, authorities have not confirmed any such interpretation, and no official findings have established those meanings.
So I don't know what this one means. I'm not sure if you've seen it. So Jeffrey Epstein sending it to Colm Olivier. And by the way, imagine, I feel bad for anyone that's innocent, that wasn't involved in anything incriminating, and maybe before Epstein was charged with in 2008, before the truth started coming out of what he's guilty of. If someone was caught in this email thread talking about something innocent with Epstein, I feel bad for them. So my heart goes out to them, and I hope they don't get stuck along with everyone else that's actually been involved in things that are incriminating. But this one sends an email. No, some are like shrimp. You throw away the head and keep the body. And then the Olivier replies, as long as you don't have any hammerhead ones, are like white sharks. And then Jeffrey then sends an email the next day. As two are Russian, I guess some might refer to them as white sharks. And then Olivier then emails, the king of Saudi has a few white sharks in his Jeddah palace. I totally prefer yours. Sure, I would enjoy the view. And then Jeffrey goes, on my island in the Caribbean with an aquarium full of girls. So this is an email that essentially just refers to Russian girls, to our Russian, doesn't say girls, to our Russian, and refers to them as white sharks. And then later says, the king of Saudi has some, but I prefer yours. And then later talks about an aquarium full of girls. It's just another example, in my opinion, of code words being used. I just don't know what it would mean. What do you make of this?
So what I make of it is basically he's saying that they'll hook up with ugly girls, that the head doesn't matter so much, that the body's what matter. That's the way I read it. That's what I think Epstein means by that, is basically saying like some of them are like shrimp. You can take off the head, just keep the body. So in other words, that's based on reading a lot of his stuff. That's my take. It totally could be wrong.
These coded terms are not definitive evidence of wrongdoing, but they have added momentum to conspiracy theories, such as Pizzagate. What stands out to many observers is that some powerful figures have offered little to no public explanation in response, which has only deepened suspicion and debate.
2017 speeches and interviews, you described Pizzagate as a baseless conspiracy theory, alleging you and others ran a trafficking ring from a Washington pizzeria basement. Have you reviewed any 2025-2026 Epstein files that were released that you believe reference or relate to those specific 2016 claims regarding the Podesta emails, Comet Ping Pong Pizza used as code possibly?
I'm sorry, you're asking her about whether she's reviewed emails in the Epstein files which relate to the wacky Pizzagate scam.
You could characterize it however you want. I just would like to know if she's familiar with any of them.
So excuse me, your question is about whether or not she has reviewed any emails in the Epstein release files about Pizzagate.
Correct.
Pizzagate was totally made up. It was an outrageous allegation that ended up hurting a number of people, that caused a deranged young man to show up with his assault rifle and shoot up a local pizzeria. I can't believe you're even referencing it. You should be...
There are connections to the language.
Well, the QAnon people believe there are, so
I don't know what QAnon people believe.
Have at it.
At this stage, the focus is no longer on just one individual. It points to a broader system where the same pattern seems to repeat. People come forward, and soon after, they are dismissed, discredited, or no longer heard from. Documents face delays, key details seem to vanish, and the full picture gets lost beneath headlines that never fully connect. So what do you think? Are these just coincidences, or is something being intentionally hidden? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more breakdowns like this, direct and unfiltered, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.